And I remember during COVID, I remember Nikki like being like, it's so obviously transparent that sports is just to distract us.
Yeah, they did that in the Roman.
Yeah, and I was like, can you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to watch the game. You know what I mean? It's
Welcome back to another episode of the Careful Boys. We got Will Pepper with us, y'all.
Hello, Will Pepper.
We're gonna go into like a really small corner of the conspiracy corner. Is that cool? We go back there.
Corner of the corner?
I think you know most.
Sometimes I make shit up, so don't trust me, okay? When the camera's on, I make things up.
So right now, a very like repeated, and I'm gonna rephrase this for the sake of the algo, but a repeated type of thought and phrase is that,
Or sentiment, right?
yeah, sentiment that basically the Diddler gang is about to be exposed, so they all decided to push the World War III button.
Yeah, and I think to bring people in, if they're not too conscious of it, because I think a lot of people try to stay away from politics, there's this whole idea that there's this, like, I think if at the surface it looks like left versus right or whatever, right? But I think as people are studying more and more, they're starting to realize there's this idea of an elite ruling class that transcends borders and countries. And a lot of these guys like to partake in
Diddling.
and like, like the essay of like kids and whatever. And because a lot of these things are starting to come to light with Epstein files redacted, now there's unredacted, and either it seems like they're like things are getting more and more transparent as it gets closer to the full reveal. They're trying to hit the World War III button, so everyone's like, "Oh shit, let's just focus on this." Right?
Yeah.
Like, what's a bigger deal?
look over
than
here,
this?
jingly
Yeah.
keys. Look at this. Isn't this crazy?
Do you believe that? Do you guys believe that?
No, because I know that it's always been. Well, okay. I'm gonna answer two questions.
I love that. I know that it's always been. That's so sick.
It was always in their plans to go to Iran. There was a CIA whistleblower that gave a list of how they were going to take down. This is in the 90s. And then they went through the list of like, okay, we're going to go through like Iraq. It was Iraq, Syria, and then all of it in order. Libya, and then whatever. And then it's been playing out. Iran was always going to be the last frontier. But yeah, they might have done it earlier to cover up, but it's not surprising to me where it's like we're not all of a sudden doing it. It's not like a oh shit reaction. They've been planning for a long time. The other thing though is the Epstein stuff and all of them getting found out. I actually think that they don't care. Like I don't think look at the Clintons just did their thing. They're just like, yeah, come at me.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I don't really think they care too much of what we think. But
I think they laugh at us actually.
yeah, but what I do know about it though is they are threatened because the old guard is threatened because there's a new guard coming into town, which is Silicon Mafia, PayPal Mafia, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, all of the homies there, and they're trying to take control of the power, structure now.
When you say they are it's part of their plan for 20 years. Who do you mean by they? Because I think on the surface,
okay,
it's like we switch presidents every 4 years, right? So, is there a plan that gets passed from president to president, or is there like puppeteers behind that can stick to a plan for 20, 30 years?
The plan is devised by the military-industrial complex. So, and on top of that,
Defense contractor.
yeah, there's multiple players in the game that all benefit from the war, right?
Are they all the same people, or do they keep? So, like for example, Boeing, is the Boeing CEO also passing the plan down for when they change CEOs?
It's a collection of companies that benefit from doing it.
Okay,
So,
okay.
for example, right, like when I say the military-industrial complex, it's everyone who benefits from war. So I'm not saying that everyone knows and everyone's working in a dark room together in an Oval Office, and then they're it's like this, like COVID happened, right? And then sometimes people are like, oh shit, this is a good opportunity. So as a hospital, I'm going to, I could get a lot of insurance money if I say that everyone died from COVID. So they benefit from it, right? So they might take advantage of the situation. But the people that devise the plan, it might be like a handful of people. But the guy that whistle blew it was a CIA operative. And then so that one was like the dark forces in the CIA that wanted that plan to work out. So I'm sure that like if you follow the money, just obviously I'm speculating here, right? But if you follow the money, the ones that benefit the most from it are the ones that are probably pushing for it, which is people in the oil industry, people in the banking industry, people in the military, because once a war happens, they get bigger checks, right?
General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, Northrop
But don't all
Grumman.
those people, I guess, so I guess I'm like, I'm also curious, because I'm like, man, how do people stick to a plan for 30 years? Like, how don't all those people also change? Like, the oil CEOs all change, the people in the military, the generals all change.
But the greed stays the same. It's like you still want like Iran's oil reserves. Everyone knows that they have massive amounts of oil. So if you were able to usurp the leadership in Iran, you control that oil supply. So that goal is just well known and something that everyone is aware of.
So is it kind of like let's say there's like a shiny or like apple tree over there.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter who the general is. Every new general is going to be like, that's the apple tree. Oh.
Well, because it's like we all know Iran has hella oil, and then we all know that they are a major opposition to our friend Israel over there. So it just makes sense we're competing with them, and if we could take them on, then we'll win in a major way, right? So then it's the objective won't change.
Like you had before Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel wanted to do the same thing to Iran, right? Like I think his name is Ariel Sharon. It doesn't change. The goal stays the same.
I think maybe there's a good way to put it. So like, you know, when Europe was colonizing and it was a race to see who can get the most like countries and stuff. So I think that's what it is. It's a race, right? So it's US competing, and it's like how competing against the Middle East, competing against China. So in this particular case, it's always been who controls the oil and resources. So I think it doesn't matter who's in charge. The game plan is still going to make sense the most.
I see.
And, the more maybe you're opposed to that, like, say, what Jeffrey Epstein used to do, allegedly, is, hey, come to my island, hang out, have some drinks, get drugged up. We're going to film you essaying a kid, and we're going to use this against you if you ever want to talk shit. So, like, now you're on board with us, right? Now you're going to play ball with us.
And it could be blackmail or it could be initiation. So that's the part that people are kind of on the fence about, because they're like, to be a part of a certain ruling class, there's rituals you got to do. There's certain things that make you a part of the club, because when you're super powerful, everyone's backstabbing each other to gain power. But how do you establish a level of trust and so to get to it's kind of like, and you join a gang, some gangs you have to murder someone, or there's like the MS-13, they're saying sometimes you have to murder a family member to prove your loyalty. So there's these crazy levels of like, hey, if they're doing it in that gang, people are like, they're probably doing it at the highest levels of like power and wealth. And then so now you're part of the club, and then now this club has more loyalty to each other versus us.
And one of my favorite examples is when we invaded Iraq. If you remember, Democrats and Republicans all voted for it. And then 2 years later, the Democrats ran against the war. And that's kind of a way to offer like a release valve of the pressure to the public to like, here, see, like the Democrats are against it. So you do have choice over what's going on.
The illusion of choice.
Right, the illusion of choice. And then you get Obama in and he continues the wars and grows the wars. And now you got Trump in there, right? And Trump was saying, vote for me. You're not going to have an Iran war. And now we have an Iran war. And now the same people who were like big MAGA people all over Twitter, all over Fox News, all over the news, they're all saying like, here's why we actually do need the Iran war.
Yeah.
And they've immediately switched over.
They've like justified every move, yeah.
Yeah, they're on board. So it's just so transparent. And yet people are still, I think, falling asleep about it.
Well, it's complex. You got to go down a rabbit hole. But to go back to like who actually runs shit, there's no term limits when you work in the private sector. There's no term limits when you're a general. There's no term limits to like CIA director or whatever. Like some of these positions you're voted in like a politician, right? But like in most cases, the people that are in power, like the shadow government, they could be in power for a long time, and then they can, like even the Clintons, like they've been out of office, but they're still in politics, and then they hold different titles that are like, I don't know.
It's crazy how all their board of directors all cross.
Yeah.
You ever seen those?
Yeah. Especially with like the people in the military and they cross over into the defense contracts.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They
pretty
just
crazy.
shuffle the deck too.
Yeah.
So like even if you, so like every time you get a new president, right, you get a new CIA director, for example. But Obama, he kept the same cat in there because he's like, oh yeah, no, he's on board. He's doing the same. Like getting
he kept Bush's whole team.
Bob Gates. I think he kept that guy. I think he was the defense secretary or something like that. He kept him. So it's just a lot of this. You're doing the right thing. You're accomplishing our goals, so you can stay put.
Have you guys seen that clip going around? It was like, I guess all the secret agencies across the world, they work for their country, but CIA has gone rogue and they do their own thing. So they don't really do things in the benefit of America.
Yeah, that's been the word since Kennedy did that.
So who are they doing it in the benefit of?
Them.
I don't know.
Well, the global power structure that Joe's talking about.
Or maybe these guys.
Was Kennedy the last president that threatened the existence of the CIA?
He literally said, I want to
Dismantle,
dismantle CIA and scatter it into the wind.
Nobody ever since JFK has ever said they want to dismantle the CIA,
because
right?
That's why they all survived.
Bush Sr. was director of CIA that became president.
Yeah.
By that time, it's
That's
like a
crazy,
clear...
yeah.
Yeah, that's like Putin.
That's
He was
nuts.
KGB that became president. It's
Yeah.
like, who do you think runs the world? It's
Right.
those guys. And then the CIA worked with...
The JIA.
What's that, JI?
I don't know. I just have Tourette's. I just have to say things.
Sing JOI.
Wait, so are we all screwed?
Yeah.
I don't mind. They've been running it really well, in my opinion.
No, we have
So I'm
benefits.
like-
we still get trickle down benefits,
Yeah.
but they're all coincidental.
We live in the kingmaker country, at least, right? Like
It's like living in the evil empire if it doesn't get taken down.
Because I'm thinking, like, we haven't had an example of being managed by another empire. And then if you look at all the other options, being a citizen in other countries don't seem that cool. Well, I don't know, maybe Europe.
Yeah.
But I think that's a temporary thing. Like, we're just seeing a snapshot of, like, things are good for certain European countries now. But a lot of people think, like, 100 to 200 years from now, it's going to look like a shanty town. Like, you know, like that Ready Player One, like it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
look like District.
The
you know, like-
stacks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Europe is gonna turn into like a third world kind of situation.
Well, it's like whatever your belief system is, right? Because this always happens. So like during like the freaking Genghis Khan era, if he accepted all religions into his empire, so it's like if that's what you like, you want like diversity, then it's actually not so bad to get ruled by him versus some other fucking warring nation that's like you have to be whatever I am.
Yeah, and this stuff is really hard because it takes so much time to kind of figure out and get your head around it. And there's also a lot of misinformation deliberately. So it's like a psyop, right? Meaning like intelligence agencies give false information with real information. So then they go, that's fucking stupid. You guys are flat earthers. So they'll get bogus stuff with real stuff, and then they'll infiltrate activism groups, they'll infiltrate like different types of political parties and media, and then they'll construct like a false narrative with some truth. And then so now there's like conflicting ideas of what's really going on.
the word conspiracy theory was widely disseminated by the CIA as a way to point at people who were talking about JFK and go, yeah, he's crazy. He's a conspiracy theorist.
The cool thing is like, I mean, it sounds really fucking morbid, but like as much as Israel does have America by the balls, at least you can still meter your happiness level with how ignorant you want to be. Like there's some countries that even if they don't want to be ignorant, they're not going to have shit.
Yeah.
But here, you really can live a pretty happy life if you don't pay attention to politics and shit.
Yeah, because some countries you'll have one meal a day.
That's what I'm saying. Like
you got to sleep on a dirt floor.
at least with, you know, as overrepresented as Israel is within our own government, at least they're making a facade that's livable.
But
that's true.
But that's their, as long as they keep people comfortable.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it's funny because I say this and I'm covered in sports shit. Like I'm part of the problem and I know it. And I remember during COVID, I remember Nikki like being like, it's so obviously transparent that sports is just to distract us.
Yeah, they did that in the Roman.
Yeah. And I was like, can you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to watch the game. You know what I mean? It's just,
It is my favorite distraction, though.
me too.
I mean, it's genius. The Romans perfected it with the Colosseum. Every single
Yeah.
time there was some shit, they'll be like, let's have a performance.
That's why it's like if you imagine America as like some giant corporate skyscraper, whatever the fuck they're doing on the top floor that you've never seen,
It's kind of working.
as long as the bottom floor is still getting
And the AC's
If
on.
the lobby is good,
That's it.
nobody in any
They just
country.
gotta look good too.
There's no such thing as a country where all the citizens are happy with everything the government's doing. It doesn't exist.
But the thing is,
It doesn't exist.
Well, North Korea.
How if the poorest person in America is still 1% of the world's wealth.
Bro, if the bums can be fat, we're doing something okay.
Yep.
Did you guys see the Kim Jong Un meme of him being sad because everyone's firing missiles?
Love those.
Everyone's firing missiles and he doesn't get to be involved and he's just like being alone in the park and shit.
He's like walking around.
It's so good.
Imagine he joins the fight just for fun. That's fucking crazy.
He just gets, let me get just one missile out there.